what do you think is human potential?
See, every creature, from a worm, insect, bird, plant, tree, everybody, all of them are trying to be full-fledged lives. If one sees what's happening beneath the earth in terms of the root systems, it is an enormous effort for a plant or a tree to become a full-fledged tree. Well, an apple tree is not trying to be an oak tree, but an apple tree wants to be a full-fledged apple tree. That effort is on in every life. So is it in human beings. But the problem with humanity is just this, that for every other creature, nature has drawn two lines. Within these two lines, they live and die. So their idea of full-fledged is hitting the ceiling of their life. But if a human being hits a ceiling, he gets frustrated and miserable because nature, this process of evolution has delivered to us to a place where there is only the bottom line, there is no top line, though some human beings are trying to breach the bottom line and go below that effort also is going on So essentially, what human life is when life was in the other forms of life that you see on the planet, nature determined a certain compulsive, instinctive ways of functioning. Once you become human, these lines have been removed. You can act consciously. That means what you call as human potential is not of any kind of measurable limit. It can go as far as you desire or as far as you have the courage to walk. So when we say human potential, unleashing human potential, it is not about reaching the peak, it is a trajectory. Because what our life is a combination of a certain amount of time and energy. Time is rolling away for all of us at the same pace. If you sit, it rolls away, if you sleep, it rolls away, if you do something, it goes away, if you don't do anything, it goes away. You're happy or miserable, it goes away. Time is running out for all of us. So it's only the energy that you can do different things with. If you bring your energies to a certain level of intensity and possibility, what somebody does in 10 years, you may do it in 1 year. This means if you live here for 100 years, it feels like in people's impact that you've created, it feels like you lived here for 1,000 years, simply because you have managed your life energies in a certain way. So for me, a human being impactful means, how conscious have you become? This is very important. Because if you're in compulsive cycles, then your energy gets wasted in so many things. If you observe people in a day, let's take 24 hours, in that anyway most people by prescription in America they sleep for 8 hours So 8 hours means 1/3 of life is gone. In the remaining 2/3 they have to eat, they have to, shower, bathroom, this, that, all this, another 2-3 hours gone. So literally 50% of life is gone, daily basis, just for basic maintenance of this life. 50% of the time is gone in maintenance, remaining 50%, what they have. If you look at every single move that they may make with their body, their thought process, their emotions, you will see a whole lot of it is happening in compulsive cycles. Or in other words, if you are little sensitive to life, you will realize you are the biggest issue in your life. So this is one thing that I'm trying to do with people, that you are never the issue in your life. I'm not the issue. My thought, my emotion, my body is never the issue. My thought, my emotion, my energy and my body are my instruments of function. They are not impediments in my life. But I would say for 90% of the human beings, their own body, then the compulsions of the body, the compulsions of their thought, the compulsions of their emotions are ruling them most of the time. So when you yourself are a problem, well, you're on self-help
So how do you begin to break out of that? Like if we're all stuck in these compulsive patterns, how do you gain the consciousness that you're talking about and begin to, I don't know if the words go beyond, elevate, like how do you stop being in that endless cycle?
Everybody wants a solution, but nobody wants to delve into the problem and see what is the nature of the problem that we have. The nature of the problem is like this. Why are we compulsive? What is it that's compulsive about us? Compulsion means we are going to the same place again and again. That means we are going in circles. The nature of physical existence in the universe is such, whether you take an atom, an individual atom, or the cosmic space, everything that's physical is always in cyclical movement. The atoms are doing their circles, the solar system is doing its stuff, the galaxies are doing their stuff, our own bodies are going through cycles. In fact, we are born because of the cycles in our mother's bodies, that's why we are born. So, entire physical nature is born out of cyclical movement, that means compulsiveness. So do not misunderstand compulsiveness as something bad, it's the basis of your existence. It is a good platform, but you're supposed to stand on the platform and act. Right now you have become the platform, so somebody else will dance on you.
Interesting. That's so my thing, part of what drives me is getting efficient at achieving your goal, which I'm sure is less than thrilling for you. So for me, I am interested in actually executing on my potential. So transferring my ability to do something into the actual thing. So the easy example I give people is if
What does impact mean for you? Leaving a footprint?
Not quite. So I have a very specific kind of impact that I'm trying to have, which is to help people actuate their potential. So I think that a lot of people, they are capable of extraordinary things, and I think that to your point about joy, I think one of the things that's absolutely foundational to joy is growth. And so getting people on a path where they believe they can grow.
Why do you say it that way? Why is growth foundational to joy? Joy is foundational to growth, isn't it?
Probably, yes. But I don't have an insight as to what came first, which is exactly why you're here.
No, there is substantial medical and scientific evidence to show that only when you're in a pleasant state of experience, your body and your brain works at its best. There's no argument about that. There's enough evidence to show that. So whatever impact or success or reaching goals or growth or whatever you say, on one level in the physical world, it's about how well you harness your physiological and your psychological process, isn't it? Whether your body and mind works against you or works for you, this is a big difference. So there is enough evidence to show only when you're in pleasant levels of experience, this happens best. So obviously, joy is first, then growth. If you're joyful constantly and you have no fear of suffering because you understand all human experience comes from within you, and so you have managed to create the kind of experience that you want, now growth is possible unbridled. If you have the fear of falling down and suffering, you will not go very high, isn't it?
So how do you work through that? How do you help people on that path?
Many ways to look at it. One of the simplest ways to see it is all human experience has a chemical basis to it. Right now, let us say you're joyful. If you look at your chemistry, it'll be in a certain way. Let's say you're miserable. If you check your chemistry, it'll be a completely different way. Now we have a technology that with which you create a chemistry of blissfulness. So my chemistry is blissful, doesn't matter what's happening. The drama around me is happening in so many different ways, but this is a privilege that I've kept for myself. Me being joyful or miserable, me being peaceful or disturbed, these privileges I have not given it to anybody else, I kept them to myself. I think every human being should do that. That the privileges of the nature of your experience must be in your hand. Because when you try to act in the world, there are many forces. All of them will not always cooperate. Sometimes they cooperate, many times They will not cooperate, many times they'll turn against you. This is the nature of the world, that's how it should be. World will never happen 100% your way, and I'm glad it is so, because if it all happened your way, where do I go? I'm glad it's not happening your way. Little bit my way, little bit your way, little bit somebody else's way. That's how the world should be. If you do bad things will come for you. This has been the way of the world. You don't need the word karma for that, because people have been trying to control people, either with fear or guilt. This has been the basis of a whole lot of things happening in the world. If you do this, you will go to hell, if you do that, you will go to heaven, otherwise here itself it will happen to you, whatever. Or there is somebody up there with a stick waiting and they will whack you. All these kind of things. Essentially, you're trying to manage humanity, control humanity with fear or guilt.
Yeah.
Fear and guilt, I see particularly in the Western world, is like enormous. It is in the psyche of people in such a big way. Well, karma is not about fear, karma is not about guilt, karma is about liberation. It is about freedom. Because you're a composite, as you sit here, you're a composite of various memories within you.
Yes.
It goes back, it goes way back, but let's start with amoeba in recent times.
Okay.
From amoeba to now, the whole evolutionary process in some way is recorded in this body. Otherwise, this body would be confused every other day whether this is human or not. This is 100% clear that this is human, this is evolutionary memory, always there. There is genetic memory, there is karmic memory, there is articulate, inarticulate, unconscious, subconscious and conscious memories. Right now when we say memory, people think only of their conscious memory, which is less than 1% of their actual memory.
So the things they actually remember in their mind, the conscious memory.
Yes, that is less than 1% of the actual memory. See, for example, I can give you 1,000 examples like this which are manifesting in everybody's life. The simple thing is this, let's say 500 years ago, how your great-great-great-grandfather was, you don't remember for sure.
No.
But his nose is sitting on your face probably.
Right. My ears are his ears, yeah.
Yep, many things.
Yeah.
Even the color of the skin and the texture of the skin, everything. So the minutest details of what happened to your forefathers 1,000,000 years ago still living with you right now.
Wow.
It is living with you right now. Now all these memories, a composite or an amalgamation of all these complex memories is what you call as myself. What you call as myself, consciously, may be just a small part of that. But that small part is happening because of this massive memory that is there. In like in India, we have in the yogic culture, we have this word called vasana.
Wasana.
Vasana. Vasana literally means smell.
Yes.
So we say your personality is just your smell. See, right now you walk there, there is jasmine. You recognize the jasmine by its fragrance. You'll recognize filth by its stink. So we recognize your personality by your vasana. What kind of vasana or what kind of smell is coming out of you right now depends on what kind of stuff have you gathered. So now karma means to understand that there is all kinds of things. Because when it comes to memory, you have no choice what to keep and what not to keep.
You can't erase memory.
You cannot. If you…
No matter how hard you try.
Try and see. What you try to forget will be foremost in your mind.
Amplified, yeah.
Whatever you think you should not remember. So always people tell me, Sadhguru, my memory is bad. I say, just try to forget it. You'll see, you will remember it always.
Right.
It's simple. So because this is the nature of the mind, you cannot… there is no subtraction and division in your mind. There is only addition and multiplication. Whatever you try to do, it'll be one more. If you try hard, it'll multiply. This is the nature of your mind. So, what is there in your memory is not your choice. Whatever you see, it's all recorded. Whatever you hear, everything recorded. Whatever you smell, taste, touch, every perception that you have is recorded within you. You have no choice what to record. Here there is a flower which is beautiful, let me just record that. There is filth, I don't want to record that, there's no such thing. Everything gets recorded. So if all this is there, how do I live clean? How do I live happy?
How do you eliminate the waste, the trash?
You don't have to eliminate the waste. Waste is very valuable. If you know, right now in this garden, they buy waste at a very, a very exorbitant price because their waste goes into the public system. They have to buy waste from somewhere, they have to buy filth.
To fertilize.
Yes.
Yeah.
So whether you turn your filth into a fertilizer or you smear it on your face and walk around, that's your choice. This is why karma. So what kind of karma happened in my life till this moment is not always my choice. So many things have happened. But what kind of karma I perform right now in this moment is 100% my choice. Will I use this filth as manure and blossom into a wonderful fragrance, or will I smear it around me and walk around with filth? This is the choice everybody has. When unpleasant things happen to us, which happens to everybody in some way if you're living in the world, I'm saying, unless you dropped from somewhere else.
Right.
If you're living in this world, so many unpleasant things happen. Now, with these unpleasant things, do you become wise or do you become wounded? This is a choice. To exercise this choice, there must be a little space. When I say a little space, where is your memory stored? People think here, your brain has very little memory, okay? Every cell in the body carries 1 trillion times more memory than your entire brain.
Every
Yes.
cell in the body.
Every cell in the body. Because if I take one cell from you, we can, create you completely in a lab. That means what? Well, your parents, your father and mother gave you only one cell each, they were not very generous, right? Only one cell each. See, a whole man came out of it.
Yeah.
So in that one cell, all this memory, head to toe, everything was there, isn't it?
Yeah.
No mistake. Texture of the hair, texture of the skin, the nails, the works, every detail, to the minutest detail, was it packed in that one cell or no?
Yeah.
Yes? So every cell in your body carries 1 trillion times more memory than your entire brain carries.
Wow.
So if you do not use that, if you just use one part of your body, then everything seems to be stressful, everything seems to be a struggle. Today everybody complaining about everything is stressful. You are a toddler, you have stress of diapers. You are a teenager, you have hormonal stress. You're middle age, you have crisis. Your old age, geriatric stress.
Right.
All right, which is not stress, your entire life is stress. Tell them, okay, you die. Oh, that is enormous stress. So this is not because there is something wrong with anybody's life. It's simply because it's like, you have a car, it's supposed to go on 4 wheels. Try to drive on one, okay, one may look like too much. Try to drive on 2, well, within 10 miles your tires will burst. Because too much stress on one point, other things are not being used. This is all that's happening to human beings.
Are we stressing our minds too much?
See, when we say mind, see again
Brain.
your hand went almost
Brain.
here. Are we stressing our minds? No, there is a mind across this body. What is it that you call as a mind? A certain combination of memory and intelligence is mind, isn't
So our
it?
whole body's mind.
Yes. In yoga, we see physical body, mental body, energetic body, etheric body, bliss body, like this, everything is body. Because it is right across, it is not in any one place. Only intellectual activity is here, okay? Right now, because modern societies, particularly Western societies, have become such slaves of their intellect, because of that, they think everything is here.
Right.
Intellect works only with the data that you have gathered. You cannot function beyond your data. That means you will remain so small, because even if you've read the libraries on this planet, what you know in terms of data is minuscule compared to what this cosmos is. With that minuscule, you think you're very intelligent because you're analyzing and processing. Anyway, all these people who think they're intellectually very smart are going to feel dumb, stupid in the next 5 years because your phone will be far more smarter than you. Already people are calling it a smartphone. See, why would you call somebody or something smart? Only because it's smarter than you, right?
Right, yeah, yeah.
Otherwise you wouldn't, all right. So right now, too much dependence on intellect because our education systems are crafted like this, not exploring other dimensions of intelligence at all. See, intellect, if I ask you this simple question, would you like your intellect to be sharp or blunt? Choose quickly, I'm going to
Sharp.
bless you. Yes.
Sure.
So essentially, intellect is like a knife. If you want to dissect something, it's very good.
Yeah.
So now the only instrument that you have is a knife in your hand. You want to stitch your clothes. If you stitch your clothes with the knife, what will happen? You will be in tatters.
Right.
This is what is happening to people's lives. They are trying to fix everything with their intellect. The harder they try, the more tatters they have become. With all this education, tell me, uneducated people are more unhappy or educated people are more unhappy?
Some stats for you that support what you said earlier. Someone dies by suicide in the UK every 90 minutes. 76% of them are male. The single biggest cause of death for men under the age of 45 here in the UK is by suicide. You said you spent a lot of time around business people and they appear to be the most unhappy and least blissful
No,
people.
I wouldn't say unhappy, stressed out.
Stressed out. What is it that we're doing to that? Because I see myself, I must be in that category to some regard because I've focused most of my time on, building businesses and, I guess to some extent material things and success. So I must be part of that
That is a diversionary tactic in the sense. So you can think that survival means 2 meals a day. Or you can think survival means Bentley. So it'll keep you busy a little longer. Still survival process. As long as the survival, there's an instinct of survival and there is a longing to expand within the human being. So, for most human beings, these two things are mixed up. It is their instinct of survival which is finding expression as their longing to expand. So it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, anybody, you want to be something more. If that something more happens, you want to be something more. You can go on like this, how much more? Whatever you want, if I make it true for you right now, next moment you will be thinking, what more? Suppose I make you the king of, not England, the planet. Don't look at me hopefully, I will not commit such a blunder. Suppose we make you the king of this planet, will you be fulfilled? No, you will look at the moon, you look at the other planets, you look at the other galaxies. If I give you one galaxy, you'll say, what about the other galaxy? Because there is something within a human being which wants to expand limitlessly.
Is that not a good thing? Is that not the reason why…
I didn't say it's not good. I'm just saying you have constipated that longing to expand. That's why you suffer. When I say constipated, right now you want to expand limitlessly. Can you expand this body limitlessly?
No.
Please don't. Don't try.
In the gym I've tried, but…
So physical expansion is a limited expansion and your longing is to expand limitlessly because there is something within you which doesn't like boundaries. The moment, see, if I imprison you in a 5x5 cubicle, you will feel terribly imprisoned. Then tomorrow I will announce your liberation and release you into 10x10 cubicle. You will feel wonderful for 2 days. Then you will feel horribly imprisoned. Then we will release you into a 100x100 cubicle. You will be fine for a week, after that you will feel miserable. Doesn't matter where I set the boundary. Once you feel the boundary, you want to break it. So there is something intrinsic within you which doesn't like boundaries. This is a consequence of the evolution that you've gone through. Once your cerebral cortex flowered, now you don't like boundaries. But you're trying to expand in an infinite way by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you ever count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and one day say infinity?
No.
You will only get into endless counting. That's all that's happening. That's why I said your longing to expand is a limitless process. But right now you're constipated. You're going one little step at a time. Constipation means just this, it happens little by little.